Hi, and welcome to this Bluehost tutorial. In this tutorial, you're going to learn how to manage your website. Some of the things you learn include how to install scripts, such as WordPress, that is the famous one-click install. You'll also learn how to work with emails. You'll create them, and then you're going to learn how to receive them and just do basic email tasks, such as sending emails. And most importantly, I'm also going to show you how to set up your emails to work on Microsoft Outlook. You'll also learn about file management and FTP. So we'll go into the file management area, and then I will also go into the FTP manager so that you can see how you can upload, download, edit files. Okay? And then you're going to learn how to create and use databases on Bluehost. So it's also important to note that Bluehost uses CPanel. So every skill you learn here will be transferable to any web host. So go ahead and start watching the videos. I will see you in the videos when we get started. Hi and welcome. So I recently moved my website from Bluehost to VPS hosting on Valtra. And I thought that since my Bluehost account is going to expire in about 2 months, I should just do a tutorial about Bluehost for you if you want to know how to use the Bluehost web hosting management area. So Bluehost uses CPanel, but the CPanel has been customized. So you're going to see that it's slightly different from the default CPanel that you may have encountered in any other web host. They have customized the appearance, the CSS. So I moved my website from Bluehost to Valtra. I've been using Bluehost for almost 3 years, and I just felt it's about time I moved to VPS hosting, and I moved my website to valtra.com. And if you really want to move your website to a VPS, that's something I'd recommend because it will give you a lot of freedom in terms of the kind of websites that you have, and you won't get messages from your web host telling you that your website is consuming too much server space and we may need you to upgrade, or we may need you to move your website elsewhere. That's something they'll tell you. But this is not a course about VPS. As soon as I'm done with this Bluehost tutorial, I'm going to do a new tutorial on how you can move your website from any shared web hosting into VPS, and in that course I'll be using Valtra because it's the one I use currently. I've also used DigitalOcean, but I'm currently using Valtra, so that's the one I will use as my sample in the course. If you're getting started, okay, you can use Bluehost because it will save you a lot of hassles in terms of running your own web server, but it's not really that difficult. So it shouldn't really concern you that it may be complicated for you. No, it's a very simple process. In fact, there are a bunch of tutorials about how you can do this, but I do have a tutorial about Valtra, and you can use that to follow along and then create your web server, create your server, install your server on Valtra, and as soon as you install your server on Valtra, then you'll come here. If you want to run your website on a VPS, WordPress in particular, the keywords are Vesta, Control Panel, and Nginx and PHP FPM. So if you're going to use Valtra, if you go into the pricing of Valtra, you're going to see they have different pricing. Some 1 GB, there is one for 512, and then there are 2 GB and so on. So if you're going to use a small amount of VPS, don't use Apache. Use Nginx and PHP FPM for your WordPress, because if you do that, you're going to run any website without running into memory issues. If you use Apache, if you don't follow my advice and use Apache, it will be on you. By default, it comes here, Nginx plus Apache, but come here and change this to Nginx, PHP FPM, and then you can just generate the installation command and install Vesta Control Panel. So I do intend to do a tutorial about this in future, which is immediately after this Bluehost tutorial. So I feel like I've really veered off from the topic, which is Bluehost, but I just wanted to tell you that if you want to run your website on a VPS, you can use Valtra, and if you come here and you search for Valtra on my website, you're going to find there's a tutorial about Valtra, how you can install CentOS. And once you install CentOS, just come here, take this script that you'll generate down here and install it, and you'll be able to start using Vesta as your control panel. Vesta is free, so you can use it. It's the same as CPanel, but different features, different functionalities, but the basic functionalities are the same. So if you come back to Bluehost, if you want to log into your Bluehost, you'll just go into my.bluehost.com. So in the next video, we're going to log in and start using Bluehost. If you don't have an account, you can sign in on Bluehost. You can use my affiliate link, it's down there. If you'd rather go to bluehost.com directly, you can do that as well. But my affiliate link is down there if you want to support me, well and good. So I will see you in the next video, and in the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into Bluehost, and we're going to go through every feature of Bluehost. Every feature that you need to run your website, we're going to go over it throughout this course. So I will see you in the next video. So if you want to log into your Bluehost account, once you've bought your account from Bluehost, you'll just go into my.bluehost.com, and that will bring you here where you can log in. And if you haven't gotten your Bluehost account yet, you can use my affiliate link down there. I will appreciate your support. So go ahead and log in so that you can go into the Bluehost web hosting management area. So sometimes when you get here, you usually get this warning, and I don't know why they're not just redirecting people. They should just redirect people automatically instead of showing people this message. So anyway, let me just click and see what's different. So as I said, my Bluehost account is expiring on April. So I just want to do this tutorial before it expires because I won't be renewing the account. So just an overview here. Here we have the website details. If you want to install WordPress, you can just click here and you'll be able to install WordPress using a step-by-step process that you'll see on screen. And if you want to see all the installations you've done, you can click here. And if you look at one-click installs, you're going to find a bunch of scripts that you can install, such as WordPress, Joomla, Magento, and a bunch of others. So all those, you can just click here and you'll be able to choose a domain. I will also show you how you can add a domain to Bluehost. Let's say you have a bunch of domains, maybe being hosted somewhere on Namecheap or GoDaddy, then you can just use them with the same hosting that you have on Bluehost if your account allows for it. There are certain accounts that only allows you to have one website. There are those that allows you, I think it has a maximum of 10, and there's another one for unlimited domains. So whichever account you choose, you could be able to connect a new domain and then install as many websites as you want to on the same Bluehost account. And I'm going to show you how to connect your domain with your Bluehost account. And then down here we have things about email. So you can create emails, you can create emails, you can create folders. If you want an email that maybe gets into your account, you want to forward it to a Gmail account, you can use these folders. You can also create emails right here. So we're going to see all of this at some point later on. And then domains, yeah, so this is where you can add a domain. If you want to create subdomains, you can create subdomains here. You can transfer domain. And then you can also create redirects. Let's say maybe you've connected a domain to this Bluehost account and you want to redirect it to your main website. You can create a redirect, or you have a subdomain that you used to use and you no longer use it. You can create a redirect about it so that it goes to the right place that you want. So we are going to look at some of this later on. And then files, this is where you can upload files. If you want to use the file manager, you can just click here and you can choose where you want to go, and you'll be able to upload, download, extract any files that you need to download, extract, or import into your Bluehost account. And then here you can look at stats, how your bandwidth is performing. You can see how your different websites that you're using on the same account, how they're performing, the bandwidth, the memory usage, and all other kinds of stats. You can do that here in this section about stats. And then this is just promotional things from Bluehost. If maybe you want a dedicated IP, and if you want to use SSL on Bluehost, you'll need a dedicated IP. So that's something you can get here. If you want to use Gmail's G Suite for your emails, then that one you can also get here. And then security, you can add SSL, site lock. These are paid features. Some of them you can add them if you want to. And then database tools. If you want to create a database, you want to manage your databases using PHP MyAdmin, you'll just come down here to database tools. You can configure your PHP so that to know which version of PHP you want to use. And then you also have all these other things. These ones you're probably not going to need to use all of this. So what you're going to look at, we're going to see how you can install a website. These are the most basic features: how to install a website, how you can connect a domain to Bluehost, and then we're going to see how you can transfer files, file management, how to create emails, just the basic things, the most important things that any website needs. Those are the things we're going to look at. So I will see you in the next video, and in the next video what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can connect any domain to your Bluehost account, and then after that we're going to install WordPress. So I will see you in that next video. Hi and welcome back. So in this video, as I said in the last one, we are going to connect a domain name with our Bluehost account. Let's say you have a domain name hosted somewhere else. You bought a domain name on GoDaddy or Namecheap, and you want to use that domain on your Bluehost account. And this is only possible if your account allows you to have multiple websites. So in my case, I have this domain here, and I want to change the name servers to point to Bluehost. So how this web hosting thing works is there has to be a server somewhere, and on that server is where you're going to have your website files, and then you can host your domain anywhere as long as on your domain manager you point to those servers. So it doesn't matter where your domain is, as long as the name servers will point to where there is a server with your website files, because if that doesn't happen, and then your website won't be able to show for people. And if it is a WordPress website, you're not going to be able to show your website to the public. So the first thing, let's go and get our name servers. And on Bluehost, if you want to get your name servers, you'll go under the domains section. And right now, my domain is being hosted on Namecheap. So if you want to change the name servers on Namecheap, you'll just come to the list of your domain names, then click on manage. And once you go, you'll see you can change the name servers down here. You'll just come down here and choose custom domain so that you can change your name servers. So I want to change these ones to point to my Bluehost account. So if I come back to Bluehost and I scroll down here in the section of domains, and where is it? If I come here into domain manager, I will be able to see all my domains that are currently pointed to my Bluehost account. And also, for you to have a Bluehost account, a web hosting account on Bluehost, you must have one primary domain. So when you're signing up, either you bought a domain or you used one that you already have, and that is the one we are going to use to find our name servers. And then we are going to use those name servers here. So it doesn't matter where your website is hosted, it doesn't matter where your domain is. If it is on GoDaddy, just find the section that has to do with DNS servers. You need to change the domain name servers. So just find that section wherever you're hosting, wherever you bought your domain, there has to be a section where you can change your name server. So find that section and then add the web host, add the Bluehost name servers. So in my case, I'll find the name servers here. And if I scroll down here, these are domains that I connected on Bluehost at some point in time. But the one that I'm interested in is the primary domain. So I'll just click on the primary domain, and then on this side you see it has the name servers here, and I want to go there so that I can find my name servers, and then I can point my domain to this name server. So if I copy that, just bring that here and paste it in there, and I know the other one also is ns2, so I'll just paste that, but I'll change this to ns2 domains. And once I do that on Namecheap, if you are also on Namecheap, then you'll just come here and save that, and after some minutes my website should show me that it is currently being hosted on Bluehost. Right now, if I take this, copy, and I check, you'll see that it's not working yet, and that is because there is still one thing we have to do. We have to add it as a domain here. We're going to assign it to our Bluehost account. So you can do that. If you scroll up here, you can see there's this section for assign. You can use this, or if you also come here to shortcuts, you'll see that we have this section that says assign a domain to your CPanel account. So if I click on this, I'm going to get the option that allows me to assign this domain to my Bluehost account. But it's the first step for you should be to change the name servers to point to Bluehost. So if you haven't done this already, make sure you do this first before you continue on with this other step. And then I'll just come here, use a domain that's, let me come here and paste the domain name. Use a domain that is not already associated with your account, and then paste the domain name there. And then you can choose how you'd like to assign the domain. You can use it as an add-on domain. So an add-on domain will enable you to create another website on it, and it will be like a different website on its own. A packed domain, this is a domain that will redirect to your main website. So if you have a main website on your Bluehost account, if you use a packed domain, it will be redirected to that website. It will show the same content that is available on your main website. So if you want to build other websites, you choose add-on domains. And then let's see. You can create a directory for it. Subdomain. So subdomain, even if I leave this as it is, it's just going to use this as my subdomain. It's going to use that as the subdomain here. But you can change them into anything that you want if you want it to be different. So if I assign this domain, so okay, I have to give it some names. Let me just paste in that there, and if I assign the domain, so this is a directory where your files are going to be for this particular website. So every time you want to build a website or you want to add files, you will be pointing to this. You will be going into this, and when we go into the file manager, you're going to see this folder is created right in your account. So it's still not showing up for us, but let's just give it some time, and then in the next video, we are going to continue from here. But this is basically the step of how you connect a domain to your Bluehost account. So I will see you in the next video. So this is where we stopped in the last video. And in this video, you can see when I click on this again, at least it's trying to verify the domain. So basically what it's trying to verify is, are the name servers on this domain pointing to Bluehost? And they are. So I've just changed them, but this may take a while because of propagation. So let's just wait and see what it's going to do, if it's going to realize that this domain is actually pointing to Bluehost. Before that happens, let me just come here and go to pingability and just see which name servers are being shown. So if I go to pingability, I can use this tool to tell me which name servers are being shown for this domain. So let me see the results that we have here. And you can see that they're still pointing to these name servers. So I will have to give it a few more minutes or hours so that it can update and realize that the domain servers, the name servers, were changed. So it's still pointing to these ones. Let me just use a different tool to see. Usually I have dns.pingdom. So I was using pingability. Let me use pingdom just to see if this has recognized the name servers. It takes a while for it to actually propagate. You may find that someone in France is able to view your website while someone in Asia or Africa is still not able to view the website because the domain has not been propagated. That usually happens. That's why in most web hosts you'll see they tell you that the propagation may take 24 to 48 hours for it to actually register all over the world. So it takes some time. So you can see this one is also still showing me that the name servers are the Vultra name servers, but let's just give it some time and it's going to update itself. Have a little patience. It's going to finish. I think for me it's been like 15 minutes only, and that's a very short amount of time for it to have propagated. So if I check it again, it's been like 5 minutes, and if I check it again, you see the name servers have been updated to the Bluehost ones, and I can see their errors. That's probably because they're still propagating, and I don't really have to worry much about that for now. So let me see if this has been able to succeed. So still it's not been added, but let's just come here into the domains list so that we can see if it's there. If it is here, then we can continue on from there. But usually it's not this complicated. It doesn't really take long. The only thing you have to wait for is make sure you do this like 2 hours before you try this, okay? Otherwise you're going to experience issues like I am now. And if you want to avoid this, just make sure that you add the name servers earlier before you try this process, okay? Before you assign it to your Bluehost account. So like now you can see if I come here, it's already here, but it's not been assigned. So let me click here. You can see that it is an add-on domain. It is already there. So the assignment is still taking place. The assignment of this domain is still taking place. It hasn't finished yet. That is because these are still propagating. So what I can do, if I come here to domains list, what I will do is I will unassign this domain. So once I select it, you just select it, and on this side you're going to see we have this option of unassign. And even if you unassign it, you're not going to lose the files. It's just going to lose the domain name. So you can unassign it, and I'm going to unassign it and then assign it back so that it can work seamlessly, so that I can show you exactly how it would have gone if the name servers were already pointing at Bluehost and Bluehost was already aware of that. So that's what I'm going to do. Once I unassign it, I'm going to assign it once again. So I'll just click on unassign to unassign the domain from my Bluehost account. And then I'm going to go through the process of assigning it back. And then once I unassign it, I can now remove it from my list. And then I will finally add it back. I can remove it. And so if I come to my list of domains, you're going to see that it is not here. So that means I can assign it once again. So I will assign a domain to my CPanel account. And this time round, I hope that everything is going to go smoothly, because by now the domain at least has propagated. So if I paste the domain right there, so you choose the option domain that is not already associated with your account, and then just click there so that it can start this verification process. And you can see just after that, the domain ownership has been verified. And the reason it has been verified is because it is pointing to the Bluehost name servers. So this is how it would have gone in the first time if the DNS servers had propagated. So you can see how easy it is once the servers are propagated. So make sure you add the servers first before you try this process. And here, add it as an add-on domain. And if you add it as an add-on domain, you'll be able to create other websites on it. You'll be able to use it as another website on the same Bluehost account. And if I scroll down here, you can use an existing directory or you can create a new directory. Of course, I want to create a new directory because it will help me know which directory I'm working with. So you can call it anything that you want. It doesn't have to have the domain extension there, but I'm just adding it. And you can see the subdomain that it's going to use is this. So this is a subdomain which will normally redirect to the actual domain that you're adding. So once you add all these details, you can easily assign the domain. So that's it for this video. And in this video, what you've learned, without my intention, you've learned how to remove or rather unassign a domain from your Bluehost account and then assign it back. So you saw you can remove it from your account, but first of all, you have to unassign it in order for you to remove it from your account, and then you can go ahead and reassign it, or you can just assign a new domain. So the most important thing for you to take away from this video is this: to avoid any issues like I had in the video, make sure that the name servers are added to wherever your domain is being hosted early. Okay, so do it like an hour early, or if you're going to bed and you know you're going to add a domain the next day, just add it at night, and then when you wake up in the morning, you can continue on with this process. And that's going to save you a few hassles of domain verification with Bluehost. Okay, so now that you know how you can add your domain, in the next process we're going to see how we can install WordPress on this domain that we've added. And just to verify that the domain has been added into Bluehost, I can go into that domain, and at least right now it's loading. You can see it is loading. There's nothing on the page, but it is loading and it is showing me something here. So that means that it's been added into your Bluehost account. And I don't need this, so I'll just close that. And then in the next video, we're going to see how we can install WordPress. So if I go back into hosting, I will see you in the next video where we're going to start installing WordPress in this domain. So I'll see you in the next video. Hi and welcome back. In the last video, you saw how to connect your domain to Bluehost. And in this video, we're going to install WordPress on that domain. So if you want to go back to the same window where we were when we started this tutorial, you'll just click here on CPanel and you'll see the same widgets, the same interface like we had when we started. So in this video, let's install WordPress on Bluehost in the add-on domain that we added. So in the last video, we added a domain. If you didn't see that video, go back and see how you can add any domain into your Bluehost account. Even if your domain is being hosted on GoDaddy and you have an account on Bluehost, you can use it to host another website. So I will scroll down here up to where it says websites, and here I'll just click on install WordPress. Okay, we want to install WordPress. We don't want to install any of these other things. So if you want to install any other scripts, let's say something like Magento, PrestaShop, or any other script that you want to install, any of those other CMSs or any web application that you want to install, you can use this one-click install. So we're going to click on WordPress in a moment, but for now, if I click on one-click install, so before you go into that window, you remember when I told you that Bluehost has customized their cPanel, and this normally in most cPanels this will work differently. They have customized theirs such that it works with Mojo Marketplace, and Mojo is a place whereby you can buy different scripts, you can buy plugins, themes, and all of that can be found in the Mojo Marketplace. So that is the way that Bluehost will try to get you to buy other things. Like if you're installing WordPress, you're going to see an option for upgrading and buying a premium theme through Mojo Marketplace. But we're going to install WordPress in a moment, and you're going to see all that. So if you want to install any of these other scripts, you're going to have to come through this and then choose whichever script. You can see you have Drupal, and you can install any of these other scripts, Joomla, anything else, anything that you want to install, you can just come and install it through here. Magento is there, PrestaShop, OpenCart, any of the scripts, Moodle, any of this that you want to install, you want to use, just click on it, and you're going to see the process of installation is just the same. So you see, you can also install WordPress through here, or you can just install WordPress through here, because they know that WordPress is very popular among people. So they've given it a quick link right here. So if I click on WordPress, so it's going to install the latest version of WordPress, which is 4.94. The first step is going to be you choose the domain. So you can see that you can choose the domains that you've added to your Bluehost account. Okay. So you can see you can also install in a subdomain. You'll just choose the subdomain right here. Okay. So it's a good thing they've fixed this, because recently I was here and there was no way of installing so in a subdomain, but it's a good thing they've fixed it. So we want to install ours in this subdomain, in this domain. Where is it? The domain we've just added, it's this one. So I want to click and install it here, and you can choose to install WordPress in a directory, or you can just install it in the root folder. In this case, I'm not going to install it in a directory. I'm just going to install it in a root folder to avoid any other processes that come after that. There are certain other processes that come that I want to avoid if I install it in a directory. So I'll just click next. Admin email. So this is the email you're going to use to manage your WordPress website. I want to use that Gmail account, and your username. This is a username you'll use to log into your WordPress website. I'm going to use Wahowa. So this is a site title. I forgot. This is a site title. In my case, let me say Business Club. So this, you give the site title your name, but this shouldn't really worry you, because you can change this in WordPress at any time. And then password, I'm just going to use password, something that I can easily remember. So you see this, if I uncheck that, if you already have a database that you want to use, you can give the credentials of that database here, or you can create the database automatically. And if you want the details for this, you can go into wp.config, and you're going to find the username, the password, and the name of the database here, if you ever need to edit anything in that database. Yes, so if you have other files in there, WordPress is going to overwrite them. And then, of course, I have read the terms of service. And then just go next. So WordPress is getting installed. You can see the progress here is saying 45%. So down here, there are these other add-ons that I see they're trying to sell. So Mojo Marketplace is a place whereby you can buy plugins and themes, and you can just go there and see if there's anything that is of interest to you. So our installation is complete. So I can just click here and we're going to go into the management area. So here you see you have your details, and if you click on this, you'll be able to log in, and our username was Wahowa and the password was password. So I'm going to delete this WordPress even before you see this video. So if you try to log in, you're probably going to find this domain is no longer connected to Bluehost. So site title. So it comes pre-installed with certain plugins. You can see, let's go into plugins and see which ones they automatically install for you. I have the Bluehost plugin, Jetpack, Opt-in Monster, WP Forms. So these are installed by default for you. Okay, they used to install WooCommerce. I see nowadays they no longer install WooCommerce. That's it. This is not a WordPress tutorial. There are a bunch of WordPress tutorials you can look at out there. I also have a few. So feel free to learn about WordPress if you want to build your website on WordPress. So in this video, what we've done, we've seen how you can install WordPress on Bluehost. Okay, and remember that this is a domain that we connected from Namecheap. So this domain is hosted on Namecheap, and we have installed WordPress on it after we assigned that domain into our Bluehost account. So that's it for this video. In the next video, what we're going to do, we're going to look at emails. Okay, one of the most important things is you want to know how you can deal with emails on your Bluehost account. You want to see how you can create and delete emails if you need to, and we're going to do that in the next video. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know, and I will see you next time. In the last video, we installed WordPress. Now in this video, let's look at email. Let's see how you can deal with email on Bluehost. So if you're not in this window, just click on CPanel and your window is going to look exactly like mine. So if I scroll down, I want to deal with email, and I can go into Email Manager. So let me just open it in a new window. We want to create an email for our domain, and the domain we added on Bluehost is bizanosa.club. And once you're here, you're going to see you have this option of create an email. So these are some emails that I've created in the past based on various domains that I had on Bluehost. Now, none of these domains are currently pointing to Bluehost, but these are domains that I've had here in the past. If you want to create an email, you just click on create an email account. Let's say you want to create an info at whichever domain. You'll choose a domain here. You see, you can even create for subdomains. If you have different subdomains and you want to create email accounts for them, you can create all of that here. So in this case, I'm creating info at bizanosa.club, and then we can give it a password. And for passwords, I can see I need a lowercase letter, I need an uppercase letter, I need a number, and I need a symbol. You can choose a default email client. Which one do you want to use? In most cases, you're going to need to use this. Very easy to use, and you can give your mail. Let's say you're creating this for your staff. If you're creating this for your staff, you may need to give them a mail quota, meaning that they cannot surpass the amounts that you give them. Or you can give them unlimited, but in most cases, you need to give them a quota to ensure that they don't surpass that amount of space that you give them. So just with that, I will click on create, and we have our info at bizanosa.club. If you want to create others, you'll just click there and create some more email accounts, or you can go and view inbox. If I click here to go and view inbox, or in most cases you can just come to, if you come to your domain name, so paste, not paste and go, but paste slash, and then if I go to my domain /webmail, I should be able to log into my email account. So you don't really have to go to your Bluehost account every time you want to log into your email. You just come into your website /webmail, okay, and it will redirect you here. So my email was info, and then my password, then log into my email. So this is the one that we chose as a default, and I think it should automatically redirect. I don't know why it is not redirecting. And just before you go any further, if you need to set up your email on your mobile phone or in Outlook, these are the settings, okay? And I think in the next video I'm going to show you how to do this so that you can get your email into Outlook. So right now, if you want to go into your email, you can just come here. Let's set this as a default, and then we can click on it to go and view our email. So there you go. If you want to send an email, you just come here, click compose, and you can send an email. And then if you want to send, just click here to send. And I've just replied, so I'm hoping that I'm going to see the inbox in a moment, because usually it refreshes after a few seconds. So once it refreshes, I'm going to see the inbox. So this is basically how you'd use the email account on Bluehost. Once you create your account, you can send images, you can send emails if you want to. And back here in Compose, if I come back here, you saw that I used the plain text editor. So if you want to use the HTML editor, which is more powerful, you can use this, okay? Because it's going to give you so much more power than the email editor. It allows you at least to easily add images into your email if you need to. And once it has loaded, you see it gives you a lot more power here, okay? You can add links if you want to. You add a link there. You can add images if you want to. Just click on images, where is it? And you can insert an image. And then you can just click OK, and the image will be added in there. And if you want to send that, you can send it. So that's pretty much it for this video, okay? You've seen how you can create a new email account. You'll just come into email and then go into email manager. Then you'll add an email account. And if for whatsoever reason you forget your password, you forget the password of the email, you'll click on view details. And once you click on view details, you see you're able to change your password. So if you're the admin of various people in your organization, you can change their passwords here, and you can change all these other details. If somebody runs out of their quota, you can tell them to delete some emails, so you can add the amount of memory they're allowed to use on the account. Then you can create autoresponders. So these are, maybe you're going on a vacation, you just want to let people know I will be away from the office from 1st of January. Then you can create autoresponders. So you can add one. So you add your email there, mine was info@bizenosa.club, and then from Ricky Wahowa, and then subject, I'm on vacation. And then you can tell them the message, hey, I am on vacation. I will be back on whichever date. And then you can say start immediately, or you can customize when it will start. Maybe you're going on vacation on February 5th. Okay, that's past. You're going on vacation on February 28th. Okay, there you go. And then you can submit. So if somebody sends you an email from 28th, they will automatically receive this image. They'll automatically receive this message from you. So that's how you create autoresponders. So those are some of the basic things you have learned in this video. How you can create, how you can use, and how you can create autoresponders as well. So that's it for this video. In the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to go into our email details, and then we're going to see how we can use those details to add them to our Outlook. So if you want to use it on your mobile phone, it will be the same process, but I'm going to use my Windows computer to connect my email to Outlook, so that if somebody sends me emails, they will come to my Outlook on my Windows computer, and you can use the same configurations on your mobile phone on Outlook. Just download Outlook on your mobile phone and you'll use the same configurations and it will work. Okay, so I will see you in the next video when we continue from here. Hi, so welcome back. In the last video we saw how you can create an email account on Bluehost, how you can open that email account, and how you can create autoresponders when you're on vacation or when you're just away from your computer. So in this video, what we're going to do, we're going to connect our email account with Microsoft Outlook so that you can use Outlook for your email instead of having to log into your website all the time. So you can use the same configurations on your mobile phone, but I'm going to use Outlook on my computer. So the process is going to be the same because it just needs the ports to access it. So once you install Outlook on your phone, then you can even add it on Gmail. I think you can also add it on the Gmail app. I'm not sure about that. So if it doesn't work, I wasn't sure about it. So the first thing we're going to do, let's go into our email, and if I scroll all the way down, I can come here into Email Manager. I need to get the settings for my Outlook so that my email can work with my Outlook. So if I come here on this side, you see there's this email configuration. Just click on the configuration. And then you choose the email. I want to use this email. And these are the configurations that you're going to add into Outlook. So in my case, I'm not going to use this private SSL. I'm going to use this one without SSL. And then I want to open out. I want to open Outlook. So I haven't used Outlook on this computer before. So let me just go next, your name. So Ricky Wahowa, and then the email address. I don't want to type. Let me just come back and copy my email address. Copy. And then I can paste it in there and use your password. So you know the password of your email. So make sure you add that. Retype the password. Then just click next. Yes, I want to allow it to configure the settings. So I'm not using SSL. That's why I'm getting this issue, but let me just click next. So it couldn't send, but this doesn't really matter because I know the reason why is because of the mail server settings. So I can click here. I'll click here so that I can manually add the settings. And if I come here, account type POP3, incoming mail server. Incoming mail server, you see it's different from what they automatically added for me. So I'm also going to show you how to avoid all these processes by just doing this manually. And then outgoing, I think outgoing is that. Outgoing is also mail. Outgoing is also this one. And then the login information is right. And then I can test the account settings. Let's close that and finish. We are waiting for it to synchronize. So you can see it's been connected with my account. So I can send, I can receive, I can use this as my email provider instead of using the one that we used here, which we went to by going to bizanosa.club/webmail. So that's how you can connect it with this. Let me go here. So one of the reasons why you'd want to use Outlook is because at some point you may want to change your email, your web hosting provider or your email provider. And if you do that, you're just going to come here and change the settings, and your email will still be here because the database is actually stored on your computer, not on Bluehost web servers. It will be stored there as well, but you'll also have the database here. So this is one reason why you should connect yours to Outlook. Let's say you want to add another account. So if you want to add another account, you'll just come here, and just when I click, you can see this is a different version. Maybe you're using a different Outlook, but I know if you just go into the file options, you're going to find it. So if I come here, I can add another account, okay? So the first time we tried to automatically get these settings. In this case, let me say I want to manually set it up. Then I click next. And I will choose this one, okay? Because these are the ports that Bluehost has given us. So I'll just click on next, and here you add your name, and then for these other emails, I don't know the passwords. But let me just use the same email anyway. Even if it refuses, this is how it is done, okay? Copy, and then I'll come back here, and the email address, and then in incoming mail server, the incoming mail server was this one. Copy that, paste it in there. Outgoing mail server was the same, and then your login information is your entire email, like that. And then your password, you know your password. And let's test the account before we actually put it in production. Okay, so the test failed, if I come here into more settings, I need to go into advanced, and then inside of advanced, the incoming server port is not this, and the outgoing server port, if I come here, that's what you need to change. You see, the supported server port is 26 for outgoing, and for incoming is 143. So those are the things that I need to change. 143 incoming server port, and this is port 26. And once I change this, I say okay, and I do a test. Okay, login failed. We're going to see why. Close. There, everything's alright. Oh damn, I just remembered. The reason why is if I come back here, this is POP3, and if you look here, this is IMAP. So 110 is right. This is the one that I needed to change, not this one. Okay, so the server port is 110 for POP3, and then the SMTP port is 26. So once I change that and I test, so the login is working. We are able to log into our email, but the send test cannot send message. The email address in your account properties, the server responded, access denied. Oh wow. Oh yeah, if you look at this, the 26 tells us that it requires authentication. So there's something in Outlook that I need to check. So if I come here into advanced, is it requires? No, it's not that one. And outgoing, yeah, you see this? We need to check this. So if I check that and I click OK, I'm going to test the account. And this time round, it should work successfully. So I want to do a simple recap just to show you how you can connect your account, because there has been a couple of itches in this. Okay, so I'll go back. Okay, back. So this is the first step. When you decide to add another account, just come down here into manual setup or additional server types, and then click next, and then choose POP or IMAP. This is very important. And then next, and then your name, add your name, and then your email address, and then this is selected automatically, and then the incoming mail server. So now that I still have this, let me just paste it in here. So your username is your email, and then your password is your email password. And then let's get the server emails, and the server mails are, where are they? It is mail.bizanosa.com.bizanosa.club. So if you come back into Outlook, the incoming mail server is that, the outgoing mail server is that, and this is another thing that you have to do. Come into more settings, advanced settings, and this is 26, not 25. Okay, and come here and check this, because our server requires authentication. Then click OK, and now if we test our connection, login, correct, send test email, correct. Okay, so that's how you can connect your email account with Outlook. So if I click next, it will test it again before it adds it into our Outlook emails. So close that, and you can finish, or you can add another account. So if you want to add another account, you'll choose on manual, choose POP, add the details that I've shown you. Like if you come here, you'll choose these details. Okay, and add those details there. And then you'll come into, where is it? Okay, I can't add until I add something. Info at Bizanosa. Control V. Your username is the same as your email address, and then you add your password there. And then this is very important. Come into advanced, change this to 26 if you're on Bluehost. So you can get this from your web host. If you are watching this video and you're not using Bluehost, just find out the settings in your email area. Okay, email configurations. You're going to find something like that. Every CPanel account has it. Even non-CPanel will have it. And then come here and check outgoing server requires authentication. Click OK. And if all your details are right, especially your name and your password, then when you click next, your email will be added after testing. So that is how you add your email into Bluehost, how you connect it with Outlook. So you can connect it with Outlook. Even if you change your web host, you're still going to have your emails here. So this is one reason why you should use Outlook. If you're on an Android phone, I think you can also download Outlook and add this same settings. Okay, these are the settings you add. If it asks you for the name, you give it the name. It asks you for the incoming server, you give it the server. It asks you for the port, you see whether the port it's asking for is IMAP or POP, and then you give it the port. Then it asks you for the outgoing mail server, add the mail server. It asks you for the supported port for the outgoing mail, you add the port there. Okay, so just add this in your mobile phone because that's going to be more convenient for you. So that's pretty much it for this video. And in this video, if I can do a recap what we've done, we have connected our account with Outlook. So you've seen that in the first process, I did it by having Outlook automatically detect some of these settings for me. So once I added my name, I added my email, I added my password, all of this, or some of the settings were automatically imported for me. The only thing that I needed to change was the port. Okay, you need to change the, I don't know, was it the port? Yeah, I needed to change the port so that they can match up with these ones. Okay, if you use a different port, it's not going to work. That port must match up. That port must match up. That's pretty much it for this video. If you have any questions, let me know. Hi and welcome back. In this video, let's talk about domains. We're going to see how you can do redirects, how you can create subdomains. And just to talk about the last video, in the last video what we did, we saw how you can connect your email with Outlook. So if you want to use Outlook as your email client, I showed you how you can connect Bluehost account emails with Outlook. So you can connect one email at a time. If you have 10 emails, you can connect all of them. And I showed you how you can just come in here, add an account and add your email accounts. So if you didn't watch that video, go back and watch it. In this video, let's talk about domains. So the first thing that I'm going to start with about domains is I'm going to show you how you can create subdomains. So let's go here. If you scroll down to domains, you just scroll down to subdomains. And then you can create the subdomain that you want to create. Like, let me call mine abc.bizanosa.club. So that will be the folder where all your files will be. Then we can create the subdomain. Then let's return to subdomains, and I want to create a second subdomain, and this one, let me just call it red.bizanosa.club, and I want to create this one as well. And the reason I'm creating this second subdomain is because I want to use it to show you how you can redirect a subdomain to another website. So let me copy. Okay, so if I come here, where is it? You see here, this one, I want to use it to redirect. So I can even just come here, click on this, and I will get the option to redirect this subdomain anywhere else. Okay, so that's a very easy way. You can just go into the subdomains list, click on redirect, and you'll be able to redirect it to any domain. So if I save this, and I come into this one, copy, you'll see that it will redirect to the website that we created. So let's go back here into hosting. And also another way to redirect, you can just come under domains. Okay, let's go back to the CPanel, the main interface. And if you come down here to the option for domains, you can do redirects here. So you can see the redirect that we've just created is here. So I can remove it. Let me remove it so that we can recreate it. Remove redirect. Then go back. So here you can create any redirect. If you have domains that have been assigned, if you have domains that you've assigned to your Bluehost account, you can redirect them to various other websites that you already have on your account. So in my case, let's say I want to redirect this domain that I've created, this one. I want to redirect it to this website. If you want to redirect it, that's what you'll do. You'll choose with or without www, redirect it to this, and then you make it a wildcard redirect so that any link from it will automatically get here. Let's say it was a website before, but the website has moved here. You can redirect it here such that even if people go to red.bizanosa.club/about, it will take them to bizanosa.club/about. That's a wildcard redirect. So if I add the redirect, that's what's going to happen. So back to redirects, and let's just test it. Control V, enter, and it redirects us, and it will redirect us to bizanosa.club. And if I come here and let me add something at the end, tests, let's see what's going to happen. Is it going to redirect us to bizanosa.club/test? Yes, it did. And bizanosa/test is not available. So it shows us a 4.4 error. So that's how you can redirect your domains. If you already have domains that you want to redirect to other websites, this is how you'll do it. And then before I end the video, here we have other options if you want to. You saw how the domain manager is. This is where you can assign a domain, you can remove a domain, you can even transfer a domain to your Bluehost account through here. So like the website that the domain that we added, we can transfer it to Bluehost if we wanted to. And then we've seen subdomains. You can create subdomains. You've seen how to assign domains. This is the process that I did. I think it was the second and third video, and you saw how I can assign a domain to Bluehost, whether it's hosted on GoDaddy, hosted on Namecheap, wherever it is being hosted, you can connect it to your Bluehost account. And then the DNS zone editor, if you need to change DNS details for your domains, this is where you're going to do it. Okay, so if I click on that as well, so the domain manager, you saw what we can do. You can register a new domain, you can transfer a domain, you can assign a new domain. So if you come into Bizanosa, you see, if you want to transfer this into you, here, you can just do that. Okay, when you click this, it is going to give you all those options, but I don't want to do that. And then the zone editor, you can add, you can select the domain, and let's choose that. So here you can edit any of these host records that you want to add them here. Maybe there's a service you're using and you've been told that add the following to your domain. So that's how you'd add a DNS record here. Okay, you'll just come to the zone records here, DNS zone editor, and you can add any details, CNAME, all of this. Okay, So if you need to add any records, that's where you'd add them. So in the next video, what we're going to do, we're going to look at the file manager. Let's see how you can work with the file manager. Okay. And then after that, the file manager, we're going to look at FTP, because sometimes you want to use an FTP client so that you can connect to your account, or maybe you want to give a developer access to your files, but you don't want to give them access to your Bluehost account, so you can use FTP. So in the next video, let's start looking at file manager, and we're going to see how you can use the file manager. And then after that, we're going to go into the FTP manager as well to show you how you can create FTP accounts. So I will see you in the next video. Hi, and welcome to this Bluehost tutorial. Welcome to the second part, and in the second part of this Bluehost tutorial, you're going to learn how to use the file manager. We're going to look at how you can upload, download, edit your files. If you want to extract and compress them, we're going to look at all that. And then we're also going to look at how to use the FTP. So if you want to use an FTP client such as FileZilla, WinSCP, and any other, you're going to learn how to do that. I'm going to show you how you can create a new FTP account on Bluehost and then log in to your account via FTP. And after that, you're going to look at databases. So if you want to create databases and use them for your custom scripts, maybe you want to install WordPress manually, or you want to install Magento manually, then you're going to need a database, and we're going to see how you can work with databases on Bluehost. And then finally, we're going to see how you can install various scripts, how you can install something like Magento on a subdomain, or if you want to install WordPress on a subdomain, you're going to see how you can install WordPress on a subdomain or any other script. And then we're going to end the Bluehost tutorial there by finalizing and taking a look at everything we've looked at from the first part to this point. So if you haven't watched the first part, make sure you do so, because we covered various things in the first part as well. For example, some of the things we looked at include, we did an overview of the CPanel, and you can see how the Bluehost CPanel is. So if you want to see that, go and watch the first part. We also looked at how you can assign a domain to Bluehost. So if you have a domain on Namecheap and you want to use that to create a new website on Bluehost, I showed you how you can connect it with your Bluehost account so that you can create another website on it. And then we also saw how you can install WordPress. So if you want to install WordPress on a domain, then you're going to see how to do that using the one-click install. And then we also looked at emails, and I showed you how to use emails on Bluehost, how you can send, create. And then I also showed you how you can connect your emails with Microsoft Outlook so that you can just use Outlook for your email. So you don't have to log into Bluehost every time. You can just use Outlook on your computer to check your emails, send emails, and so on. And the final thing we looked at in the first part was domains. So maybe you want to create domain redirects, you want to create subdomains, and so much more about domains. So if you want to look at all that, you want to learn all these things that I've mentioned, just go to the first part and you're going to see all these sections and you're going to learn all this. So just get started right now and watch the video. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below and I will reply when I see it. So just get started watching the video right away. See you in the next part. Hi and welcome back. In this video, let's look at the file manager and we're going to see how you can upload, download, compress, how you can use the file manager to even back up your own website. So let's get started right away, and I'm just going to click on the file manager. I can click to go into the home directory, or I can go into the web root, but let me just click on home directory so that I can show you how you can go into various sections from there. Here's your file manager. You can access all your files here. So your website files will be inside here. Your email will be inside here. Your email files will be inside here. If you need to back it up, just come here and you can select all, compress as a zip file. So this is in case you're moving to a different web host provider and you want to back all these things up. Just come here, and once you do this, you can transfer these files into the new mail folder for that particular web host that is using CPanel. So you can just put this folder in there, go into the CPanel of that web host, then click on upload and upload this. So if you want to download this, just click on it and then click download, and the download will begin automatically. So if you want to go into your website folder, there inside of the public HTML directory, that's where you're going to find all of your websites. Okay, if you have different websites on your Bluehost account, this is where you're going to get them. So if you click on, let me click on this because this is a website that I've been using throughout in this tutorial. So this is my WordPress. These are my WordPress files. I didn't install it in a directory. I installed it on the root folder, and these are all the files for my website. So if you want to back all these files, what I'll do, I can just select them. Okay, select everything, compress, and create it as a zip file, and you can give it a name. You can call it wp backup.zip, and then if I compress that, it's going to compress all the files, and then I will be able to download that, and I can move that into a new website, extract them, and then also go and take my database into the new website, and I can move my website that way. But there are a bunch of WordPress tools that you can use for that, such as duplicator plugin. So if you want to add any new file, you can just click on new file and you'll add any new file that you want to add in there. Maybe you want to add index.php, which is already there. So let me call it phpp. When you're verifying your website with Google Analytics or Web Console, you may need to upload something into your web server. And this is how you will do it. You'll just come in here and you can upload whichever file you've been given to upload in here. So you can see all these others. These are also websites which are here. So if you have many websites, you need to know the folder the particular website is using for all the files, so that when you're uploading things, you know where they need to go. What else is remaining here? If you need to edit anything here, like let's say you want to edit this, you can just click on it, then select, right click, select code edit, and you'll be able to edit the files. Once you have changed anything, just make sure you click on save so that you can save the changes. So that's how you can use the file manager on Bluehost for managing your website files. And if you need to delete anything, you can just click on it and delete it. If you need to upload, just click upload and you can upload whatever you want to upload. If you have something that you've uploaded and you need to extract it, you'll just click here. For instance, when you buy themes and plugins, you will need to come into WP content. If it is a plugin, just come in here and then upload the file, upload the actual zip file of that plugin, and then once you upload it, you can extract it in here. So that's pretty much it for this file manager tutorial on Bluehost. In the next one, let's see how you can work with the FTP manager to enable you get access to your files through an FTP client. So I will see you in that next video. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And just a recap, in this video, you have learned how you can use the file manager. You've seen how you can upload, download, extract, compress your files in your Bluehost account. So this is the same for any web host that is using CPanel. This is CPanel. So you'll just go into file manager for that particular web host. If they're using CPanel, then you're going to see this. Okay. So I will see you in the next video. Hi and welcome. In this video, let's talk about the FTP manager. So if I scroll down here under files, we are going to learn about how to use the FTP so that you can connect into your website and you can upload files, download files, and edit files using your FTP client. So in the last video, we saw how you can use the file manager. So if you don't want to use the FTP, you can actually use the file manager to edit your files, compress your files, download your files, upload files, and all the other functionality that you saw on the file manager window. So if you don't want to use FTP, go ahead and use the file manager, because one of the advantages of the file manager is that you can extract compressed files right there on your file manager, but with FTP, you can't do that. You cannot extract them via FTP. So let's go straight ahead and start by creating a new FTP account for the website that we created. So here we are. You'll need to give your FTP a login username, and you're also going to need to give it a password, and your password must have all this. Okay, so make sure your password has all this so that you can create your FTP account successfully. So I will call mine 1, since I want it to be at the top of the list of the FTP accounts that I have. I will start with 1, or I can even start with 2, Wahowa. And then I want to create it for bizenosa.club. And let me enter the password. And then you can see it has automatically put this directory in here. But I know I don't have this user, so let me just remove that so that I can give them access to all the files which are inside of this directory. So if you want them to have access to everything inside of your public HTML, just remove that. If you want them to have access with everything inside of your root folder, then just remove that. But I want them to have access only to this folder. So you can also give them a quota just to make sure that they never ever exceed the amount of space that you put in here, the amount of megabytes that you put in here. But in my case, I'll just give them unlimited because I'm going to delete this website as soon as possible. And then just click on create FTP so that you can create the FTP account. So here we have the username. So you can change the password. If you forget the password for this, you can just come here and change the password. Configure your FTP client. Let's see our FTP details here. So FTP username there, FTP server, and then the port. So you know your password and you only need access with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into WinSCP. So there are a couple of FTP clients that you can use. FileZilla is there. We have this. We have CyberDuck for Mac users. Then we have FileZilla for Windows. We have this for Mac. But I normally use WinSCP. So if you just go online, let me search for WinSCP. WinSCP. Then search for WinSCP. You can download it and use it. Whatever, I'm using a VPN, forget about that. You can just search for WinSCP and use it to access your website. So in my case, I'm using WinSCP. So I'll need to add a new website, and I'm not using SFTP, I'm using FTP. And the host name, what was the host name here? Okay. Let's first of all take the username, copy the username, paste in the username, and my password, I already know it, so I'm just going to, even with this, I can take that, copy, let's that be our host name, and then, so the host name is that, and then you put in your password. Then let's try, if you want to save it on WinSCP, you know what, I can save this, save with the password, but this is not safe. I never do this, but this is not safe. If you save with the password, if somebody gets access to your computer, they're going to have access to your FTP. So if I try to log in, let's just hope that everything was okay so that it can log us in. And there you go. You now have access to your files. So these are all your website files. If you want to add anything in there, if you want to edit anything, you can copy it into your computer and then edit it, or you can just use the default WinSCP editor that you set. So like if I want to edit this, it will get downloaded, and then I can edit anything let's say I just add a space in there and then I save. As soon as I click save, you see it is down uploading the file. So progress 0, and then it is done. So that's how you can upload, download everything. Okay, if you want to download anything, you can just select it and select download. You can duplicate it, you can move. If you want to move it anywhere else, you can rename things. So that's how you can use your FTP to access your account. So the most important thing for you is you create the account. Okay, once you create the account, you will use this as your username, and then you will use that as your server. All right, and the port is 21, and make sure that whichever FTP client you're using, then let's say I click here on new session, whichever FTP client you're using, select the protocol of FTP because you're not using FTP. Okay, so that's it for this video. In this video, you've seen how you can connect to your account using FTP. So as I said, if you don't want to use FTP, you can just use the file manager because the file manager is very easy to use. Once you log into your account, you can upload, download, extract any files that you need to work with at any point. So that's it for this video. And if you have any questions, feel very free to let me know. I don't know what I should cover next in the next video. I think we're pretty much done with the most basic things that we can deal with. So I think one thing that I haven't covered is databases. So in the next video, let's go in and create a database. So in the next video, we're going to see how to work with databases, and I'm going to see you in that next video. Hi, and welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can work with databases on your Bluehost account. So let's say maybe you have some script that you need to install, and you also need to create databases for that script. Let's say you're not using the one-click install for whichever script you're installing. So in that case, you're going to need to create a database for that script. And if you are going to use a database for PHP, normally you must have a database name, you must have a database user, and you must have a password for that user. So you can use the MySQL wizard to create a new database along with the users. You can also use this MySQL database, just create a database and add it to a user who is already in your database. You can also go into PHP MyAdmin so that you can manage your databases. Maybe you want to import a database, you want to export a database, you want to delete certain tables, you want to add certain things in certain tables, you want to edit things in your PHP tables in your database. Then you can use PHP MyAdmin. And let me just click on this. So I hope it will open, but normally I get an issue with it on my Bluehost account. So I've clicked on this. Now the one that is more important to you is if you want to create a database, you want to create a user, then you'll click on MySQL wizard, and this will guide you through a step-by-step process on how you can create the database, you can create the user, and you can create the password for that user so that you can use those credentials for any script that you're uploading. In the MySQL database, the first step is you create the database, and the database automatically gets your username as there for security purposes. So let's say we want to create a database called sample.db, and then next step we will connect it to a user. Then you can create a user, and then you give a password. Make sure your password is strong. I'm using a weak password, and then I'll create the user. And then here you can decide which privileges do you want to give this user for this database. Okay, so in most cases you can just select all privileges if you're the admin and you're going to use this, or sometimes you can remove, you can just give them various privileges based on what you need to do. Okay, so you can give different privileges based on what your script demands, but in my case I'm just going to give it all privileges because I'm going to delete this anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Now the user has privileges for that database, and you can use this and this to connect any script. Let's say you are installing WordPress without using the one-click install. You're going to need to add a database user, and you're going to need to add a database name and a password. Okay, when I click on this, it automatically gives me all my databases. Okay, all of them are here. So you just click on it and it will take you into your databases. Let's see if the database that I created is here. So now that I've reloaded the page, apparently I need to log in again. Nonetheless, let me just put in the username that I had here. What's the username? Wahowa user. And then I can log in. So if you don't know where you can get your login and password, let's say you installed WordPress using the one-click install. If you install WordPress using the one-click install, you can get your database password, the database that is being used by WordPress, by going into the file manager. Where is the file manager? I had one open here. So if I go into the file manager and then I go back into my root folder for my WordPress website, then I can go into what's it called, WP config. And if I go and open code edit WP config, I will be able to find my database username, my database password, my database hostname, and they're all here. Okay, database name, database password, and the database username. All of that you can find here. So if you need to find them, you need to use them anywhere else, this is where you'll find them. Okay, if you have to log into your database and do something manually, then first of all you need to go into your WP config, take the database password, take the database username, so that you can log into PHP MyAdmin. Don't know what errors these are, but I don't really know what they're about. But if I need to import a database here, I'll just click there to import a database. If I already have certain tables that I want to use in this database, then I can do this. Maybe you're migrating from another web host. You can do this. You'll just come in here, import your database, and then you can also upload your files. And if you're using the same domain that you're using in the previous web host, you're not going to have issues importing your website, because it is the same domain, the same links. So it's just going to work out of the box as long as the import goes smoothly. So for some reason this has refused to open up, but normally that's how you do it in PHP MyAdmin. You'll just come here into import, and then you'll get the option to choose the file from your computer, and then you can import it into your database. And that's something that's usually very possible and very doable. But unfortunately there are some errors on this PHP MyAdmin on Bluehost, and I don't know what is causing them. And unfortunately it's a shared hosting, so there's nothing I can do. I can't check the files, I can't check the logs, there's nothing I can do. That's one of the reasons why I started using VPS, so that if there's any error, I can go and find out what the issue is myself. So that's it for this video. In this video, you've learned how you can create a database and use that database for your application. And you've also seen that if you want to know the details for your WordPress database that was installed via one-click install, you just need to go into your WP config, and then you're going to find all those credentials in there. And that is the same for all the other scripts that you're going to install. If you install any script via one-click install, every script has a database file whereby there is a config file. You can access the database name there, you can access the username and the password. So that's it for this video. And in the next video, let's look at something that I forgot to look at, and that is how you can install on subdomains. It's just the same process, okay? But I just want to do it anyway. And we're going to see how we can install anything else, one of these other one-click installs, into our subdomain. And the process is just the same. The only difference is that when you get to the point of choosing the domains, you're going to choose your subdomain. That's the only difference. So in the next video, that's what you're going to do, and that's going to be the last video that entails this Bluehost tutorial. So if there's anything else that I may have forgotten, just let me know, and I will see if I can cover it, or I can just give you a link for where you can find something to help you with it, because Bluehost has a very intense documentation for almost anything on Bluehost that you want to do. So you can just search for Bluehost, how to do this on Bluehost, how to do that on Bluehost, and you're going to find that the solutions that come up are probably going to be on the Bluehost website. So you don't have to worry. That's the same for every website that is serious about their business. Every web host that is serious about their business, they'll give you tutorials on how to do things, how to move your domain to Bluehost, how to add name servers on Bluehost, how to activate this, how to add databases, how to import databases. You're going to find every web host that is serious about their business, they have a documentation, because that is like a marketing thing for them. So if there's anything that you don't know how to do, I mean, it's just as easy as going to Google and then you search for how to do X on Bluehost, how to add X on Bluehost. All the solutions will be there for you. So I'll see you in the next video, where we're going to end by installing any of the other scripts. And I think I'm going to try Magento, and we're going to see how to install Magento on a subdomain. So I will see you in the next video. Hi and welcome back. So in this video, we're going to see how you can install any script on a subdomain. So I want to use Magento, but if you want to install WordPress, well and good. The process is just the same. So before you even get started, you have to know that running something like Magento on a shared web hosting is a bad idea, because at some point, if your store gets popular, and not even that popular, you're gonna get an email from them telling you that, hey man, you're using so much of our resources, you need to upgrade or move. So if I were you and I'm planning to run something like that, I would just go for a VPS, and VPS is very affordable these days. If you go to Valtra, you're going to find a $5 server. $5 server is enough for you to run Magento. The only advice I would give you is don't install Magento and run it on Apache and Nginx. You can use a Vesta CP. Vesta is a control panel, a free control panel, and if you use it, just make sure when you're installing it, you install the Nginx plus PHP FPM, and that will enable you to run any website with very minimal resources. Like I run my WordPress website right now on Valtra using the same setting, PHP FPM and Nginx, and I mean, the resources that I'm consuming are so minimal. I can install so many more websites, and I'm not using an expensive server. It's very affordable. So if you want to run things like this, just start using VPS. It's not even that complicated. And after I do this tutorial on Bluehost, the next one I'm going to do is going to be about Valtra and how you can install your websites, how you can run any website on a VPS. But I'm going to use Valtra as my demo because it is the one that I currently use. I personally like to tell people about things that I've used. I don't tell people about things I haven't used. So that's why I'll be using Valtra. I've also used DigitalOcean, but not as much as Valtra. The skills you're going to learn in that course, I haven't created it yet. They will be transferable to any VPS that you'll be using, whether it's DigitalOcean or any of those others. So that's it for the intro part. So let's just go ahead and install Magento on a subdomain, and I'm just going to start by clicking on one-click installs. And then of course, let me run down the scripts so that I can find the one that I want, which is Magento, and I'm going to choose, I don't know whether Magento 2 is here. I can see Magento 1.9. I can see Magento 2. Is there a search? No, there is no search. Oh, who cares? I'll just use the Magento 1.9. But if you wanted to install Magento 2, maybe you'd have to install it manually. If you're using your own VPS, you just download it from Magento website, then you install it. So I'll click on install to install the Magento 1.9. Just click on get started. And of course, you can see the process is just the same. You select a domain or a subdomain, and let's look at the subdomain that I had created called tests. I don't know how it was called, but it has something to do with .club. Yeah, abc.club. So I can use abc.club, and I don't want to install it in a directory. I'll just install it on the root, and I'll go next. And then you can give your website the information that you want for it, like the admin first name. I'll just call it admin last name, sys, and then the email address, and then the admin username. Yeah, I'll just leave it as admin, but of course you need to change yours. And then I will use password as my password. Of course, you have to use something that's secure. And if you already have a database created, you can use that database right here. Just put the username, the password, and the user. Just put the credentials for your database there. But I want the system to create a new database for me. So I will go next. So let's just wait for it to install Magento for us. You can see it's at 45%. Let's wait for it to install, and then we're going to go into our Magento site. So you can see the installation failed, probably because of the resources. There are probably certain limits in the PHP file that I can't get access to. So if you want to do something like this, you probably have to do it manually. And the way that you do that, you'll just download Magento, and then you put Magento inside of the directory that you want to install it. And then you'd create a database and connect to that database, and that will work because it doesn't have to use any scripting to do that. You'll just be installing Magento. If you want to run an e-commerce website using Magento, the last place you should be looking into is a shared web hosting. Just use VPS because VPS has become very affordable. I mean, Valtra even has a $2.50 plan. It isn't really as expensive as it used to be. So nowadays you can run your website on a VPS at a more affordable cost than you'd run it on any shared web hosting. Like let's take for example WP Engine. They're a WordPress intensive, let me just call it WordPress intensive web host, and their plans I don't think they have a plan that is less than $20. So if you want to run your website there, you have to pay so much money for those services. But for what purpose really? You can just do the same thing on a VPS. I mean, I'm telling you, I run my website on Valtra, okay? And I'm using the 250 server. I'm just doing an experiment with that to see how much traffic that can support. And if I get to a point where I see that is just not enough for my website anymore, I'm going to upgrade. But as per now, that's what I'm using. I used to receive once in a while, your website is down errors when I was using Bluehost, which were very rare, and I have to commend Bluehost on that. But nowadays, I don't receive those errors. And the secret is very simple. I mean, regardless of what some web admins will say out there, don't use Apache on your web host. Don't use it. I mean, if you have a small VPS, don't use Apache. It's going to consume so much resources. And why are you going to use Apache while you can use Nginx with Vesta CP? And Vesta CP comes with the configurations ready. You don't have to configure anything. You just install Vesta CP. Make sure when you're installing it, you choose the option for Nginx and Apache, Nginx and PHP FPM. Because if you choose the one for Nginx and Apache, and you want to run it on a server that has less than 2 GB, you're going to experience website outages after every 3 hours, So just take my advice. If you're going to use a VPS and you're running WordPress, just forget about Apache, okay? I know there are people who love it, people who've used it, and it's a great web server if you have a lot of memory. But if you don't use it. Use Nginx and PHP FPM, and the configurations are already there on Vesta CP. So the keywords for you are a VPS and Vesta CP and Nginx and PHP FPM. When you're installing Vesta CP, that's what you need to use. The configurations are already there on the Vesta CP panel, and I'm going to do a tutorial about this after I'm done with editing these Bluehost videos. And I'm not even going to try and rectify this because I don't really need Magento for anything right now. I was just showing you how to install it, and if the installation is not successful, then there's nothing I can do about it right now. So that's going to mark the end of the tutorials in this Bluehost tutorial. And in the next video, I'm just going to come in and remove the domain I assigned and just finish up the course. That's all I will be doing in the next video. I won't be teaching you anything new. So if you have any questions, make sure you let me know, and I will see you in the next video. So I'll see you in that next video. Hello and welcome to another video. And in this video, I just want to show you how you can delete an email. So let's say that you've just created an email and you want to delete it. Maybe you've fired someone from your company, or an email has been changed and you want to delete the email. This is how to do it. First of all, you're going to come into the email manager so that you can see all your emails. When you know the email that you want to delete, you just come and click on view details, and then when you scroll down, you're going to see the option to delete, and you'll just click on delete to delete the email, and you need to confirm that you want to delete it, and the email will be deleted. So that's it. That's how to delete an email from your Bluehost account. Hi and welcome back. In this video, I want to show you how you can add a free SSL on your domain. So if you want to use SSL and you want to use a free one, continue watching. If you want to add the SSL, you'll just scroll down and you can add it from here. You can just click on SSL and it is going to take you into the area where you can add the SSL. Or you can also scroll down here into security, and you'll also find this SSL. You can just click on it, and when you click on it, it's going to give you the option to either buy or use the free SSL. So as you can see, I already have SSL installed on this one, and it's a free SSL. So what you're going to do, if you have more than one domain, you're going to choose the domain right here, and let me choose the one that we added. So what's going to happen is Bluehost is going to add a record on your DNS records, and that is going to help them verify the domain. So if you want to use the free SSL, you'll just click on Get Started. And then you choose an email, and then you'll just click on Install. Okay. So this is going to get installed on that and that. So you're going to install, and as soon as you click on this, everything is going to happen automatically, and you're going to receive an email telling you that you've purchased SSL and it is at no cost. So as soon as your free SSL has finished installing, it's going to work by default. So you don't have to do anything else. This is all you have to do. The only people that have to do something else, if you're using WordPress and this is an old website that you're adding the SSL on, what I mean is if your WordPress is already running and you're adding the SSL right now, the only next step you're going to have to do is you're going to go into your WordPress website, and then you're going to install a plugin called Really Simple SSL. And as soon as you install that plugin, activate it, it's going to ask you to enable SSL. Once you enable SSL, it's going to redirect everything. It's going to redirect everything from HTTP to HTTPS. But it won't do that for everything. For example, if there are pages where you've added, what are they called? Absolute links. If you've added an absolute link to an image, you're going to have to change it to either HTTPS, or you're going to have to remove the protocol and just have the slashes in front of the link to that image or that file. Okay, so that's the only thing you're going to have to do if you use WordPress. Install Really Simple SSL, activate it, enable SSL, and then if you have places that need to be changed, you have to change them manually. For example, if you have images that you added manually, maybe you're using a background image and you added it manually, you're going to have to do that yourself. You're going to have to change the link for that image. For example, if you have a link in your CSS file and it points to HTTP bizanosa.com/the image, you're going to change the HTTP to HTTPS, or you're going to remove the HTTP so that it just shows HTTP, so that it just shows the slashes in front of it. And if you experience an issue whereby you've installed HTTPS and it's already installed, and certain pages are showing you that it's secure, while on other pages the security is not being shown, that is the green thing is not being shown, what you're going to do is you're going to open the debugger, and in the debugger, I think it's network. If you go under network, let's see if it's network. No, security. If you go into security, it's going to show you the link. It's going to show you the links. It's going to show you links that are making that page not be secure. Like if you have links to an image, it's going to show you that link there, and you can just go in and change that particular link so that it can use HTTPS. If it is an image, if it is a CSS file, JavaScript file, a PDF, you're going to change that manually. So I think it's security. I'm not sure about that. Just check security. I don't think it's network. Based on what I'm seeing here, I don't think it's network. It's got to be security. And it's going to show you any files that are not secure. So here there's nothing much I can do but wait, okay? As soon as it happens, if there's any other steps for you to do, you're going to be told. But as per now, you just chill and wait. Like if I click on this right now, it's going to tell me that I've ordered. Okay, this is what is going to tell you once the SSL has already been installed, but it hasn't been installed for the domain that I should have clicked on, and I should click on that. And if I say show renewal options, you see it tells me that my SSL is not yet installed, and you can see it is still at the stage whereby it has just sent an email. And then once it has sent this email to me, there's nothing I have to do really. I just have to sit and wait for the SSL to be activated. And if there's anything that you need to do, you're going to get the directions in your email. But in most cases, there's nothing that you will need to do. As soon as it confirms that your DNS records are pointing to Bluehost and your web server is on Bluehost, it's going to activate the SSL. It's going to install it on your server, and your domain is going to use HTTPS. Okay, so there's nothing that you have to do unless you're somebody who uses WordPress. You just need to install the plugin, activate it, enable SSL, and any links, any images, any PDFs that you added manually using HTTP, you're going to have to remove the HTTPS and change it. You're going to have to remove the HTTP and change it to HTTPS, or you're going to remove the protocol altogether and just have the slashes in front of it, and that will use the protocol that is available. So I hope this video is going to help you enable SSL on your website, because Chrome and Firefox and a bunch of other, even Opera, nowadays they show this red thing here. If your website is not secure, it just tells people not secure. So just install SSL so that you can get the green check mark there. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, make sure you let me know. Hello and welcome to the final video in this Bluehost tutorial. So if I can just do a small recap. In this video, what we've done, we have looked at various things that I believe are crucial to any person who is starting to host their own website. So if you want to host your website on Bluehost, this tutorial will be very helpful to you. It will help you do various things. Like some of the things we've looked at are, we looked at the overview of the CPanel, that is this section here. So we looked at some of this, and if you want to get here, you can just click on CPanel and you'll have the same window like I have right now. So we did an overview about these different elements, and you can just click on them to see what they're all about. I also showed you how you can point your domain to Bluehost. Let's say your Bluehost account is the one that allows you to have multiple websites on the same account. Then you can have your domain on GoDaddy, you can have a domain on Namecheap, and then you just connect those domains to your Bluehost account so that they can point to the servers on Bluehost. And I showed you how to do that, and if you watch the two videos, you're going to see how to do it well. Okay, it's just a step of updating the name servers, and once you update the name servers, you assign that domain to Bluehost. And I also showed you how to install WordPress on Bluehost. If you want to install WordPress, you want to use WordPress, you can install WordPress. In the last video, I tried to install Magento, but I couldn't. I received some error. I don't know what the error was about, but probably some PHP limit that has been set by the Bluehost team. So that's one reason why I was recommending that you use a VPS if you're going to host something as big as Magento. And then I also went into creating emails, and you saw how you can create different emails. You can create emails. You also saw how you can connect your emails with Outlook, so that instead of going and logging into your website every time you want to look at your emails, you can just open Outlook on your computer, or you can just open Outlook on your mobile phone and view your emails, send emails, and do any email related tasks with the emails that you have connected with your Outlook. So just watch that video and you'll see which configurations I'm talking about. And then we also looked at domains, and in domains, you saw how you can create redirects, how you can create subdomains, and any other thing that we discussed in the domain area. Just feel free to look at that video, and you're going to know everything that we talked about. And then after that, we looked at the file manager, and in the file manager, you saw how you can compress all your files and download them. So that would act as a backup for you. And then we also worked with databases, and you saw how you can create a database. I tried to import a database into PHP MyAdmin, and there were some errors. I don't know what's causing these issues on Bluehost, but I know sometimes that happens, but they'll be resolved. So maybe for you, when you follow along with me in the videos, you're going to realize that everything is working fine. So it just depends. Sometimes maybe they're working on the servers, or sometimes they have certain limitations that they haven't opened up yet. In this video, I want to go under domains, and I want to remove the domain that I assigned to Bluehost. If I go into domains, then I go into domain manager, I'm going to see all the domains that I have attached to this account at some point, that I have attached to my Bluehost account at some point. But right now, I just want to look at the one which we were dealing with. So the one that I was dealing with was bizanosa.club, and I want to unassign it. You see, if you want to remove it from your account, first of all, you have to unassign it. And once you have unassigned it, then you can remove it from your account. So I need to delete it from the CPanel account before I can unassign it. But the good thing is that it doesn't really matter, because whether I remove it or I don't, I know that if I want to use this domain anywhere else, I can do it. I will just need to change the name servers to the servers of the server where I want to store the files. So you saw how I did that for Bluehost, and you can do the same thing for any web host that you're using. You just change the name servers for this domain where it is registered, and you're going to be able to use it and point it to those files. Even if there are certain files for that website that are still here, it doesn't matter. As long as on the new server you have all the files for the website and the name servers are pointing to this website. So it doesn't really matter whether I'm able to remove it or not, and I can just leave it without any worries that it may affect any future that I have for the domain. I just know that nothing's really going to affect the website. As long as I want to use it anywhere else, I'm just going to go in and use the domain by changing the name servers to the server where I want to use it. Like if I want to use it on Valtra, I'll just take my name servers from Valtra and add them to Namecheap where the domain has been registered. Okay, so that's it for this course. Okay, and I hope it helps you if you want to navigate your way around Bluehost, especially if you're new to this web hosting stuff. Then this will be a very good course to get you started on most of the things that you'll need to do throughout on your Bluehost account or any web hosting account. Because if the web hosting account that you're using uses CPanel, then you don't even have to relearn anything at all. You just need to transfer the skills based on the interface that the CPanel is being run on. So if your web host hasn't changed the CPanel, then you're going to see the same things, the same names, but the only difference is going to be that the interface is going to be different. Okay, the interface is not going to be the same as the one for Bluehost. So in the next course, what I'll do, I will do a tutorial on how you can install a server on a VPS account, how you can run WordPress, you can run any website. And as soon as I'm done, I will let you know when I'm done with that course. But meanwhile, you can just join any of my courses on Udemy or Skillshare. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter. You can follow me on Facebook. I'm not really active on Twitter, but I ought to post things on Twitter. You can follow me on Facebook. When you do that, when the course is ready, I'm going to let you know. You can even you can join any of my courses. And if you join any of my courses on Udemy or Skillshare, as soon as the course is uploaded, I'm going to send out an alert to you, so you can know. So you can just plan, and when I'm done with the course, you can decide that you're going to use that course to move into VPS hosting, because I'm going to do a step-by-step tutorial. So the things I'm going to use are Valtra as my VPS provider, and then I'm going to use CentOS as the operating system for our web server, and then I'm going to use Vesta CP to run our web management. So you are used to using CPanel. No, we are not going to use CPanel. CPanel is expensive. We are cheap, right? We're going to use Vesta CP, which is free and has a lot of great features. So just bear with me. As soon as I create it, I will let you know, okay? And you can use it to move your website from any shared hosting that you're using into VPS hosting. And it will be a very simple process. I mean, it may sound like it's something that's complicated, but it's not really, because all the scripts will already be there. All the commands will just be already there for you. You'll just copy them, put them in on your command window, and everything will just work out, okay? They've been tested. They're the ones that I use. Lots of people use them as well. So it's not really something that should get you to a point where you believe that, no, that's not for me. No, if you want to move away from shared hosting, the next course I'm going to create is going to give you that opportunity to move from shared hosting. Meanwhile, if you want to use any shared web hosting, I have a couple of shared web hosting that I've used in the past, and I would recommend them to you if dealing with the VPS and managing your own web server is something that you just feel like, no, that's too much work for me. So if you want to do shared hosting, I have a couple of web hosts that I've used in the past, and I recommend them. Therefore, in that list, if you go to bizanosa.com/hosting, I have them listed there, and Bluehost is one of them. The only reason I have Bluehost listed is because I've used Bluehost the most. Like for my own website, 3 years, I used Bluehost. So this is the final year where I'm moving away. My account is expiring and I'm just moving away. I've actually moved away. Just follow me on Facebook. Join any of my courses, even free if you're not going to watch it, because when I create an alert, you'll be alerted when I create the alert. And if you have any questions, make sure you let me know. I will be here for you. And just a word of caution. Maybe if you experience any errors, any issues in the future that you need help with, I may not have a Bluehost account to help you through. So I will need someone to volunteer the account, maybe for the demo that I will need to do, because I'm not going to buy any Bluehost account ever again. So that's just something that I wanted to let you know in advance. So I will see you next time. And all the best with your website if you're running it on Bluehost. Until next time.